All Vietnam vets remember the sound of the rotor blades of a Huey helicopter. They made a very distinct whoop, 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 whoop sound as it went through the air. Whoop, 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 whoop. Every morning, every evening, a chopper would fly in and bring in breakfast or bring in dinner. If you got people wounded and you have to have a medevac, that sound of that chopper blades is unforgettable. I can forget a lot of things in my life, but I'll never forget the feel, the sense, the smell, the look of LZ X-ray. I was born in Fort Benning, Georgia. My dad was an Army officer, a West Point graduate, but both he and my mom were born and raised in Puerto Rico. He was one of the first Puerto Ricans ever to attend West Point. The only thing I can ever remember wanting to do was go to West Point and be an Army officer. I mean, I had no second thoughts. My first duty station when I was commissioned and after I finished Airborne Ranger, the basic infantry course, was assigned to Germany, where I spent 3.5 years in Munich. As my tour of duty was about to finish, I started hearing little rumblings. We had special forces units in Laos. I always felt my duty was to move to the sound of the guns. So I immediately volunteered for special forces.
I have today ordered to Vietnam the Air Mobile Division and certain other forces which will raise our fighting strength from 75,000 to 125,000 men almost immediately.
Our commander, Al Moore, gets called by the brigade commander and says, the division has intelligence that says there may be something up in this big ridge called Chupong Mountain, and it's covered with heavy jungle. He said, we don't know what's there, but we think that there may be some activity, so we want you to take your battalion and go and check that out. We get on a helicopter and we fly over the area looking for a place big enough to land. That's how we found LZ X-ray. We only have 8 helicopters, Hueys in those days. You could only lift about 6 troops at a time, so 8 times 6 is 48. So every lift could only bring in 48 guys. So to get the battalion in there took a couple of hours. When we were flying in the helicopters, it was all done fairly low level. The chopper pilots got really down low, and you went fast. It's like being in a roller coaster. It's a fun ride. When we landed, B Company had just captured a prisoner. And I remember scared little skinny kid. We interrogate him and ask him, what are you doing here? Well, we're here to kill Americans. Where's your unit? And he points to the mountain, which is 200 yards away. So that changed the plan. The most essential thing we had to do was secure that landing zone, not lose the landing zone.
We're going to be shoot. Third grade, fourth grade, just 17, you've got 2 minutes remaining.
Colonel Moore quickly realized that for us it was going to be a battle of survival. I immediately sent my first platoon to take up the corner where the creek bed ran up into the mountain. I started hearing rifle fire from that platoon, and the enemy starts coming up that mountain. As soon as the last platoon landed, I run down and I start hearing machine gun fire, and I run into the platoon sergeant who is lying on the grass, and I said, where's Lieutenant Taft, who is the platoon leader? And he says, Lieutenant Taft is dead, sir. I had told my soldiers, as Hal Moore had, that we're not going to leave anyone behind. So myself and my communications sergeant went forward, and there's a fight going on. And I find Taft, but I also find another soldier, and he's shot in the gut. Because of the heat of the moment, whatever, my mindset was I have to go get Lieutenant Taft. So I grab Lieutenant Taft, and I bring him back. but knowing that I have to go back a second time because I have to bring back the other soldier. Again, under fire, we go forward. And this time they're throwing hand grenades at me. We get the soldier back, and the crescendo of the fight, it starts building up. And at that point, we're defending the creek bed and a corner. The enemy is coming down off of Chupong Mountain in large numbers and running right in front of my rifle company. And we're killing a lot of them. But during that period, B Company has a platoon that get cut off. Hal Moore calls me on the radio and says, we have to go out and get that platoon. I didn't have good vibes about that. My troops have been fighting now pretty hard, and they were tired. For the first time ever, they had the experience of seeing their friends killed and wounded, and I thought they needed a boost and give me a little pep talk about, we have a platoon of B Company, they're your friends, your buddies, we have to go out and get them. And they responded wonderfully. Yeah, let's go. So I got up on the edge of the creek bed, said, follow me, and I led the assault. I was the first guy out. I was ready to give my life for my soldiers. I had gone 50 meters or something, talking to my artillery forward observer, Lieutenant Tim Blake, and he had a compass on a strap across his chest, and I saw that compass explode. And Tim Blake drops dead. On his side, he had a radio operator. He drops dead. On my side, I have Sergeant Jack Gall, who's a friend. He drops dead. And myself and John Clark, who's standing behind me as my other radio operator, unscathed. I always said that a machine gun hiccuped, because they went boom, boom, boom. We couldn't see the enemy. If the enemy could see us, I needed some way of hiding our movement. On my radio, I called for them to fire smoke. Unbeknownst to me, the only thing we have is white phosphorus. Phosphorus gets on you, it'll burn right through your skin. When I saw that stuff going off in front of me, I thought, I've killed my rifle company. I can tell you that is the first time in the battle that I felt fear. Fortunately, it landed and it went, it made this huge, thick, dense cloud of smoke. We stayed out there until all my guys were back in the creek bed. On day number 3, word comes out that we have to evacuate because Air Force are going to come in and they got to drop bombs all along the side of that mountain. I really hadn't slept for 2 days. The reason I'm sitting there looking at the AK is because I didn't have enough energy to do much anything else. We flew out and then we went to play coup. It was kind of the start of the recovery period. I feel the loss of all my soldiers. When you get through all the bravado and whatever and so forth, what you're left with is anguish. Well, I have found help, and the help is the soldiers who fought at LCX-ray have been gathering together for the last 22 years. And we have annual reunions where we have gotten very close. We know each other's families, and that is a major healing event for not only me, but for the other guys. It's important to remember the quality of service of these people. We took soldiers with us that had 14 days left in country, and several of them died there. They sacrificed their life, not for a cause, because the fact of the matter is that most of them didn't give a rat's ass whether South Vietnam was liberated or not liberated. They were there because they were told to go there, and there was an expectation that when your country calls, you go.